Mrs. Sharon. I am reading Beginnings of Books so that you can have a sample of some books that you might like. If you like what you hear and you read along and you decide you want to continue, all of the books that I read are available on the library's Libby app. So you can get that on your phone or your iPad or on libbyapp.com. You just need to put in your library card number and you can borrow books. So this book is called House Arrest. I read this book last year with a group of sixth graders who really seemed to like it. So I thought I'd share this one. It's a little bit different because it's written in verse, which means it's written kind of like poetry. It's not written in full sentences in paragraphs. It's about a boy named Timothy who is a good kid, but he made a really bad decision, which got him in a lot of trouble. So he ends up being put on house arrest, which means he can't leave his house. He can only leave to go certain places like being his probation officer. That's the person who's in charge of making sure he's following the rules. And his, I think it's a therapist or a social worker or somebody. He's a good kid. He did a bad thing, but he did it for a good reason because his baby brother is really, really, really sick. And his mother is having a hard time keeping up financially. So they're having a really hard time in their life. And Timothy made a decision that really didn't end up helping the way that he wanted to. So here is the beginning of House Arrest. And just so you know, this book is not uplifting at all. It's not funny. It's not fun. So, and it's pretty emotional. So if you're a person who doesn't really like to read emotional books, I would skip this one. But if you do, it's really good. So here we go. Okay, winter. Week 1. Boys don't write in journals unless it's court ordered. At least this is what I've figured out. I have nothing to say. I am not allowed to have nothing to say, except on Tuesdays when I go to see Mrs. Bainbridge, who calls me Tim instead of Timothy. I sit on her squishy couch, my mouth sealed shut, my eyes burning holes in the leaves of all her plants. She says I can call her Maureen, but who would want to be called Maureen? Adjudicated delinquent. I had to look up how to spell that 3 times. I don't feel like a delinquent, and I don't know what adjudicated means, even after looking it up. Sounds like a kung fu move. I adjudicated you in your face. Hi-ya. A whole year of this journal? Maybe I will write about the other people I see. Like Jose, just being Jose. I will pretend his life is mine, like I can still go hang out in our street whenever I want. Magnolia Circle, where I've always lived, with the manhole cover that makes a perfect third base. This book doesn't have chapters, it has weeks, and they're pretty short, so maybe I'll do 2 or 3. Week 2. How do you let yourself become a probation officer? Is there a school for that? A diploma? Congrats, James, you have graduated and are now a complete tool. James recommends not writing any more things like that last thing. Otherwise, the judge will get mad. Who knew my probation officer could read my journal? I would like it on record that that isn't there. Do you hear me, James? Do you hear me, Mrs. Bainbridge? Do you hear me, Judge? A personal journal is very crowded with so many eyes. James on Monday, Mrs. Bainbridge on Tuesday, school every day, home every day. Nowhere else unless Mom is with me. That's the scheduled journal. Got it? It's pretty simple, like a court-ordered cage with a mom-shaped lock. You better take this journal seriously, James told me Monday, or they'll throw you in juvie so fast your head will spin. As if my head isn't already spinning. On that day weeks ago, I'd lost my head. Everything foggy and frosty, everything a dwarf name from a fairy tale that didn't exist. I remember I was so tired. So tired. Levi had been sick the night before, one of those nights with no nurse at home to help. Mom had her hands full, and I did too. Levi was bad sick, so I helped, running for towels, for meds, for the heavy oxygen tanks, for the suction machine, for the spare trach tubes, for the ties to keep the tube in his neck so he could breathe, which he wasn't doing very well that night before the morning when my head was full of fairy tale dwarves named Foggy and Frosty and Sleepy and Crazy. I will never know what I was thinking when I stole that wallet because I wasn't thinking. I wish everyone would stop asking. There is no what when there is no thinking. There is just ising. Things happen. Things happened. Just like that. Snap. It is what it is. It was what it was. So stop asking. I was trying to help, that's all. But it was the opposite of help, and I know that now. I'm not sorry, though, if you're wondering. I'm just sorry I got caught because it would have helped. It would have. Okay, and I will stop there. So if you would like that book and you want to continue reading it, download Libby on your phone or your iPad. You need your library card number to put in, and you can search house arrest. And there it is. So you can borrow it. It says placehold. That's because I have borrowed it. So I will return the one that I borrowed so that this should be available for you. If you ever do see one that it does say placehold, just place the hold and it'll tell you how many holds there are. So you know how long you have to wait. Okay, if you read this book, let me know if you like it. Let me know if you have any recommendations for books you want me to start. Enjoy.